Cihangir and Çukurcuma in central Istanbul were once the heart of Turkey's massive movie industry, and today are still packed with resident celebrities, cool bars, and a history that is glorious and tragic, Ottoman and Greek. Let's start with the glorious. 600 years ago, this sleepy street staged one of the most badass military maneuvers ever. During the Ottoman siege of Constantinople, the defending Byzantines hung a giant chain across the Golden Horn to keep out enemy navies. Mehmet the Conqueror's response was to pull his whole fleet 3 kilometers along what is now Boğazkesen Caddesi to Kasımpaşa, bypassing the chain and helping him conquer the city. During the maneuver, Mehmet himself led Friday prayers in a nearby forest that was thereafter known as Çukurcuma, or roughly Friday Valley. The life of Mehmet the Conqueror's great-grandson, Suleiman the Magnificent, was scarred by tragedy and often memorialized by his court architect Mimar Sinan. Suleiman's favorite son was Prince Cihangir, who was more interested in wandering the forests of Pera than he was in politics. So that Cihangir and the local villagers had somewhere to pray, Sinan built the Muhittin Molla Fenari Mosque on exactly the spot where Mehmet the Conqueror had led Friday prayers 100 years earlier. But Prince Cihangir had been born a hunchback and died at the age of 21. The only thing that makes this less sad is that, in accordance with Ottoman tradition, Cihangir would have been ritually strangled when his elder brother ascended the throne that same year, which is exactly what happened to his other brothers. A grieving Suleiman commissioned Sinan to build another mosque on Prince Cihangir's favorite hilltop, where he laid Cihangir and his brother Mehmet to rest. The hill would henceforth be known as Cihangir and the valley below it as Çukurcuma. By the 1600s, Pera was urbanizing as Galata outgrew its walls and its former residents moved uphill along a street that would become Istiklal Caddesi, the empire's official diplomatic district. In 1731, the Taksim water system boosted the development of new northern neighborhoods like Cihangir and gave the whole area its current name. See our Istiklal Caddesi guided tour or Taksim videos for more, listed in the description. Cihangir suddenly found itself at the center of one of the world's biggest and fastest growing cities, but was allowed to keep its green spaces and historical buildings. At the time, Cihangir was largely Christian and Greek. When the liberalizing Tanzimat reforms removed restrictions on the size of non-Muslim religious buildings in the 1800s, the Greek residents of Cihangir cleared the cemetery at the top of the hill and built a new church, the Aya Triada Church, the first domed church to be built in the city since Byzantine times. But following World War I and the Turkish War of Independence, much of Istanbul's Greek population emigrated. In the 1940s, the government nationalized non-Muslim businesses through the Varlık Vergisi, and in 1955, local Greeks were attacked and the Aya Triada Church was looted and burned. Most of the Christians moved away, and the area became majority Muslim for the first time. But this seemed to strengthen the resolve of those who remained, who were soon joined by dissident Turkish authors, writers, and filmmakers. They would form the backbone of the prolific Yeşilçam film industry in next-door Taksim, which made Turkey the world's 4th biggest movie producer in the 1960s, as covered in our North Taksim video. Cihangir thus became the Beverly Hills of Turkey, complete with resident celebrities, fancy bars, and chic restaurants. Many TV shows were set and shot in Cihangir, immortalizing its 80s and 90s street culture. In 2012, The Guardian included Cihangir and Çukurcuma in its list of the 5 best neighborhoods in the world, sending house prices spiraling. Cihangir and Çukurcuma today remain some of Istanbul's most desired residential areas, inhabited by a lively mix of writers, journalists, artists, and their hard-partying offspring, who have made this part of town a destination in its own right, helped by several historical sites and its reputation as a haven for street cats, even by local standards.
Ya çok sağ ol abi.
This video assumes you are starting on Taksim Square. The Greek Orthodox Aya Triada Church's unusual twin spires have long been a key feature on Taksim's skyline. It was completed in 1880 as the first domed church built in the Ottoman Empire and remains the biggest Greek church in Istanbul today. It was burned down during the pogroms of 1955, then rebuilt and reopened in 2003. For more, watch our Taksim Square video. Walk down Cihangir Caddesi to Firuz Aya Mosque, which stands on Leafy Cihangir Square, where out-of-work actors used to come and wait to be recruited by local film crews. Continue down the hill to the Muhyiddin Molla Finari Mosque, built by Mimar Sinan on the spot where Mehmet the Conqueror led Friday prayers during the siege of Constantinople. The heart of Çukurcuma is Hamama Sokak, known for its parade of antique shops. This will take you to Hamama, the oldest Ottoman bathhouse in Istanbul, built for Mehmet the Conqueror's family. Behind Galatasaray High School is French Street, a favorite spot of the local French community in the 1800s. It was restored in 2003, complete with streetlights donated by Paris municipality. However, it was renamed Algeria Street just a few years later during a diplomatic spat with France over the Armenian issue. Running all the way to the Bosphorus and Karaköy is Boğazkesen Caddesi, or Throat Cutter Street. Boğaz is the Turkish word for throat, as well as the Turkish name for the Bosphorus Strait at the bottom of the hill, and this street follows the route that the Ottoman navy was towed along during the siege of Constantinople to bypass the Byzantines' defenses, thereby cutting the throat of the Bosphorus, hence the deceptively terrifying name. At the top of Boğazkesen Caddesi is Istiklal Caddesi and Galatasaray High School, the oldest secondary school in the country, covered in our Taksim videos, listed in the description. Further down Boğazkesen Caddesi is St. Joseph French Orphanage, built in 1868. The building's ownership is disputed, with Turkey not recognizing the donation of the land to France during the Crimean War, which is why it has been preserved in its original form. Kadirhane Tekke was a Sufi monastery that was shut down in 1925, then rebuilt and reopened as Hacı Pir Mosque, complete with its original floral paintings and fountain. The building at the bottom of Boğazkesen Caddesi was once a cannon foundry, or tophane in Turkish, giving this part of the neighborhood its name. It was built after the Ottoman conquest on the site of a Greek church and is now an art gallery. If you are continuing along the waterfront, make sure to watch our Karaköy and Galata videos. The Cihangir Mosque has burned down several times since it was first built in 1559. The present building dates to 1889 and has some great views over the Bosphorus. It is the final resting place of Prince Cihangir and Prince Mehmet, two of Suleiman the Magnificent's 8 sons. Nearby, local celebrity Ali and his Street Cat Hotel provide a fun, furry break from Cihangir's historical sites. For guided tours of this and other parts of Istanbul, check out the free walking tours in the description. The humble but excellent Van Kahvaltı is known for having the best Turkish breakfast in Istanbul. For lunch, get a lahmacun at Kardeşler Kebab Cafe on Cihangir Square. On Boğazkesen Caddesi, two of the best restaurants in Cihangir are Solera, specializing in steak and Turkish wines, and Limonlu Bahçe, hidden away in a pretty courtyard with great food and atmosphere. The best bars in Cihangir are probably Smyrna and Cactus, with a fun atmosphere and a good range of drinks. For English-speaking social events, pub quizzes, and more, get in touch with our partners Yabancı through the link in the description. The easiest way to reach Cihangir is via the Taksim Square metro stop, which also features a funicular railway down the hill to Kabataş ferry terminal. Beyond this are Karaköy and Galata, two of the oldest areas in Istanbul, as well as Beşiktaş and Dolmabahçe Palace. Watch our videos on these places before heading off. All links in the description. Thanks for watching. Have you been to Cihangir? If so, please leave a comment and let us know what you think of our video, and like and subscribe to stay up to date with our latest content. Links to all other videos, hotels and free walking tours mentioned here are listed in the description, along with relocation services to help new arrivals settle into Istanbul. And while you're here, check out another one of our videos about the history and sights of Turkey. Thanks, and see you next time.